Now at noon, law enforcement authorities are facing questions and criticism over how much time elapsed before they stormed a Texas elementary school classroom. Thank you for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. We continue following developing news out of Texas, where investigators are reviewing the deadly shooting rampage at an elementary school. We're
now learning more about the messages the gunman sent before the attack. We have live team coverage on the investigation and the victims.
We begin with KTLA 5's Chip Yost. He is live in Uvalde, where law enforcement officials just held a news conference with new information. Hi, Chip.
Hey there, Glenn and Lou, and a big surprise at that news conference. You know, when we got some of the information earlier in the week from authorities, they prefaced it by saying this investigation's early, some of this information might change. Well, one piece of information was a really big change. Let me explain it to you, show you some video of the scene. Here's what we've told you before it happened. There's a change to this. We told you that the shooting started, everything started at his grandma's house. He shot his grandma in the face at a home nearby, took her pickup truck, drove it to the school, crashed, went inside the school, where before going inside the school, we were told he was confronted by a school resource officer. That's the part of the story that is now changed. They are now saying that he was not confronted by anyone before going into the school, that there was no school resource officer on site. So how that information got out there, that was the case beforehand, don't know, but they wanted to correct that information. They say that, that he was not confronted, that he was able to go into a door. They do say when he crashed the truck and got out with one of those AR-15 style rifles, though, he did see some people across the street and started firing at them. Take a listen.
He walks around, he sees two witnesses at the funeral home across the street from where he wrecked. He engages and fires towards them. He continues walking. He continues walking towards the school. He climbs a fence. Now he's in the parking lot, shooting at the school multiple times. 11:40, he walks into the west side of Robb Elementary. According to reports, video we have obtained from outside, inside, and again, we're still combing through that. So bear with us. Multiple rounds, numerous rounds are discharged in the school.
Now, he does say there were local law enforcement officers that did show up and engage the shooter, so that, or until a Border Patrol tactical team got together and was able to go inside with some other law enforcement and engage and eventually shoot and kill that school shooter. But some new information there. We're still sorting through some of it because they didn't take a lot of questions after the news conference, so there are still kind of some questions we have about how this transpired. It does seem from one of the comments that maybe the shooter was in there for up to an hour or so before they were able to get to him. But we're still sorting through some of the new information that came out at that news conference. Again, if you were with us previously, some other information that's come out in the last day or so, they do say they're looking into whether there were any red flags this suspect put out, this shooter, I should say, put out. They say he was messaging with somebody. A Facebook spokesperson says that they found out after the fact he was doing private messages to somebody during this whole event. They say it started with him saying he was going to shoot his grandmother, then that he had shot his grandmother, this part of the information coming from the governor, and then that he was going to do a school shooting, all as this was playing out. So a lot of new information we're sorting through. We'll have more for you on the KTLA News a little bit later, but things developing still here in Texas. For now, reporting live, I'm Chip Yost. We'll send it back to you.
Chip, thank you. And we continue to learn more about the 19 children and 2 teenagers who were killed at that school.
Some of them, even the children, died while trying to shield others. KTLA 5's Corrine Winter joining us live from our newsroom with more. Corrine?
Well, Glenn, we have new reaction coming in this afternoon. Raw emotions from family members, and we've been hearing from parents who had so many plans for the summer. With the end of school fast approaching, family trips that have now been called off for funeral plans. The victims' families are in so much pain, but some found the strength to share their stories.
My granddaughter was in here. She was an innocent little girl.
A gymnast.
I promised her, her death was not going to be, in vain.
An honor roll student and a budding football star.
They're not just faces and photos, but children who embraced life and loved their families. Young victims of the Texas school massacre who've left behind loved ones in mourning. Their worlds shattered by this senseless shooting that's left so many unanswered questions.
We wanted to take her life.
This Uvalde law enforcement official who spoke to CNN is a father of 10-year-old Lexi Rubio.
All we can hope is that she's just not a number. Hopefully something gets resolved. That's all we ask. Hopefully something gets resolved.
I know this is very difficult, but what would you like to get resolved? What would you like to see resolved at this point?
Damn violence, guns. I'm a cop. I'm a deputy here in Uvalde County. This is enough. This is enough. No one else needs to go through this.
Another victim who died in the shooting, 10-year-old Jacqueline Caceres. Her dad, Javier, said the focus now is laying his little girl to rest.
Full of life, full of little firecrackers. She was just all out little girl. I mean, awesome. I mean, she loved to do music.
Community members and grieving families honor those who were injured and who lost their lives in this attack. Among those in attendance for the prayer vigil, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Many wiping away the tears as leaders of the service read Bible verses and said prayers. Prayers for those who went to school on Tuesday and never made it home. Anne-Marie Jo Garza just celebrated her 10th birthday a few weeks ago. Her long-awaited gift, a cell phone that her dad said she tried to use to call